This is the Cubs POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Chicago Cubs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Locked On Cubs POSTCAST here on the Locked On Cubs YouTube channel. That's a tough one for the Cubs as they lose 3-1 to the Detroit Tigers. And today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So the Cubs lose 3-1. Frustrating game in a lot of ways. A lot of the margins and the little things went the Tigers' way. A costly mistake that we're obviously going to focus on here first. In the fifth inning, Ben Brown was fantastic in this game, and this game had real playoff vibes in this one as well. So there's a lot to get into, a lot of good. I mean, more bad it feels like, but a lot of good in this game that we're going to hit on. But we're going to start with absolutely the turning point of today's game.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
Look, and this one's going to be frustrating. There's going to be a lot of blame pointing here, and you're welcome to give your reaction here live on YouTube in the chat or tweet me any social media platform at Joe George Radio. But the turning point of this game is clearly what happens in the fifth inning. Pete Crow-Armstrong starts off the fifth inning with a single. My note here is make some action, please. Get moving. You're facing the best pitcher in baseball in Tarik Skubal. He won the Cy Young last year. He's probably going to win it again this year. He's been fantastic. And he was pretty good for this game, but the Cubs had their opportunities in this game to get the win. So top of the fifth, Pete Crow-Armstrong hits the single. Dansby Swanson comes up, and he hits a double. And it should be second and third with nobody out. Or it should be a runner on second and a runner scored. Or a play out the plate and Pete Crow-Armstrong is out. All of those could have been acceptable outcomes. I could have accepted that PCA takes off for home on the play. They try to get safe on Javier Baez. Instead, he could start out at the plate, but that's not what happens. Instead, he turns the corner, and he is stopped by the third base coach. About a quarter of the way down the line, he turns back, and he's out at third base, and it is a costly mistake for the Cubs in this game. Look, it's Pete Crow-Armstrong. First of all, the third base spot. Let's start with the third base coach here. Make a decision. Either let him go and take the risk, or you got to stop him way sooner than that. Now, it kind of looks like PCA might have blown through it a little bit as well because he's starting to slow up as he's getting to third base, and he puts the Jets back on as he turns the corner. So you can tell there's a miscommunication there. He's not sure what to do. And look, the third base, the coaching's been fantastic. This is the first time. We've done, 60 of these postcast shows at this point in the season. This is the first time we're having this conversation the entire year, which is a positive, right? We're not talking about third base coaches and decisions they do or do not make throughout the year. But PCA turns the corner, and instead of just taking off for home like he should have done, he should have just let him go for it at that point. Let Javier Baez have to make a fantastic throw that, yes, we have seen him make as Cubs fans many a times. And he was great on defense in this game for the Tigers. But let him have that opportunity to make a mistake as PCA has turned the corner. He's one of the best athletes in Major League Baseball, but instead they turn him back, and he's out at third base. And you have a runner on second, but this is the key here. And this is why, yes, this is a costly mistake, but it's not the only reason why the Cubs lost this game. Because you have one out in the inning, okay? You've got Nico Horner up, who then hits a deep pop fly, which if you let PCA just stay at third, he's safe there, and it is a tie baseball game, 2-2 at that point there in the fifth inning. But instead, 1-1 there in the fifth inning. But instead, you just make a terrible decision really all around. So Nico pops out, and then Justin Turner comes up to the plate there in the fifth, and he strikes out. Shocker. He strikes out to end the inning. So at minimum, you had a chance to score with PCA. Then you have a chance to score with Swanson on second base, and you just don't get it done. And it was a huge, costly mistake for the Cubs in this game. Losses are going to happen. This game had real playoff vibes. You've got the best team in the American League by record, the best team in the National League by record, going toe-to-toe on a terrible television network because I despise that I had to buy Apple TV to watch this game, but whatever. But the fact is that you had a chance to win this game. Skubal's been very good this year. Again, he's elite. He is an elite guy, and you had plenty of opportunities in this game to take advantage. He did not have either his best stuff or the Cubs lineup. Parts of it did very well in this game. Kyle Tucker specifically in this game did very well. If you look at what happens there when the Cubs get their first run in, it's Tucker. It's him doing the job there, driving in the run, got multiple base hits in this game or multiple extra base hits in this game. Tucker that's what he's there for. They have their ace on the mound. You've got your superstar in the box. You expect Kyle Tucker to come through, and he did. So it's not Tucker's fault they lost. It really is just that one situation there and that inning in the fifth inning that ends up being costly. And let's talk about the good stuff here for a second, okay? Ben Brown, fantastic in this game. Ben Brown was very good in his last start. We saw them use the opener role for him with Drew Pomeranz. Today, they don't go that path. And you've got three lefties in the top of the order there for the Tigers. Ben Brown comes into this game, and he is absolutely in control, basically from start to finish, that he's in there. 7 innings. Yes, he gives up 7 hits, but only 2 earned runs and 7 strikeouts. And what's the most important part for me for Ben Brown in this game is that he has multiple opportunities to where the Tigers could have really done massive damage against them, and he did get out of it. Bottom of the second, you got back-to-back singles. So it's first and third with 1 out, and then all of a sudden, broken bat, double play, inning over. Bottom of the fifth, 2 singles, first and third with 2 outs. Yes, Gleyber Torres gets a base hit, and it's 1-0 Tigers, but then he gets Kerry Carpenter to fly out, and the inning is over. So he has opportunities to really let this game get away from him, but he didn't do that in this one. So he's the positive in this, the biggest positive. Him and Kyle Tucker are the 2 positives of this game. But obviously the conversation, again, is going to be what happened there in the 5th inning, what happened overall in this game, and just the fact that the Cubs lost by inches. You couple plays here. You got the deep home run or the deep hit by Seiya Suzuki, 2 of them in this game. One to left field, one to right field. The one to right field, that thing just kept carrying and carrying and carrying. I thought it was leaving, but Kerry Carpenter has to jump up, make the jumping catch to get it there at the wall. That would have been an absolute game changer tonight for him. So they were close. They were close in this game, but unfortunately, the Cubs just were not able to get it done. And this is, again, one of the best pitchers in baseball, and they had opportunities to win this baseball game tonight, and they did not get it done. The next 2 games, to me, are very important. This next stretch of baseball, where the Cubs are up in a level of competition versus what they just went through, we know it was easy. They had a great stretch, a tough stretch earlier in the season. They did very well against that, obviously. But this recent stretch, they went 16-5 against teams all below 500. And now you face much tougher level of competition. And it started with this game against the Tigers and Skubal. And unfortunately, they just got the better end of the Cubs tonight in this game. We'll take a break. We will continue to have this discussion about what happened in tonight's game, your thoughts and reaction, and more here live on YouTube, as well on social media at Joe George Radio, wherever you can find me. We'll be right back here on the Locked On Cubs postcast on the Locked On Cubs YouTube channel. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are in full swing, and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never a better time to get in on the action. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game. Before tip-off and live, with player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays, fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. If you look at the series price for the NBA Finals that are going on, it was crazy. The Oklahoma City Thunder were major favorites, -700, but the Pacers steal game 1 because Tyrese Halliburton might be the most cold-blooded player in the NBA, and for that reason, I will take the Indiana Pacers plus 10.5 in game 2 in this series. If you're new to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, quick comment here for the people live here in the chat. I think you guys are great, but sometimes you got to chill. I don't want to be going in and banning people live here on the show. Certain language will not be tolerated for the people live here in the chat. So if you cross the line, you will be whacked as quickly and subtly as possible during the show. Yes, it's fair to have disagreements. It's fair to feel like the Cubs are frustrating at times. It's feel like they are great. But chill out a little bit is my only warning to the chat this one time. Let's talk about more of the game tonight. Fair comment here from Becky, even though there is a hit from Justin Turner in this game. Another one where Michael Busch not starting versus lefty. Now look, this is probably not the best place to start him, honestly. We saw this versus Mackenzie Gore. He wasn't great against Mackenzie Gore. Hasn't played a lot against lefties this year. To ask him to face Mackenzie Gore or to ask him to face a guy like Tarik Skubal, it's a tall task. You got to kind of work him into it a little bit to be facing lefties on a regular basis. Going forward, I want to see him more against lefties. I'm fine with Michael Busch not playing in this game. However, Justin Turner, not getting it done. Really ever. Now, he's doing fine at first base. He's doing a good job adjusting to that role for the Cubs. Defensively, he's fine. Offensively, you're just not getting enough from him in this role. The guy that's supposed to be facing lefties. And I'm not going to blame this game on him, but it's obviously not on Justin Turner. There's a lot of other things that happened in this game. Couple mistakes by, Ben Brown. Not his fault either, but just the Cubs just got flat out beat in this game. But Justin Turner is hitting like what? What is he hitting this year? 211 on the season. It's just not good. So I just want to see, people give Michael Busch the chance every single time. Like, let him more often. Let's work his way up to facing Skubal and Gore. But I want to see more of Michael Busch. And it's because you're just not seeing great output from Justin Turner. If you're really going to go down this path, then to me, you have to find a different answer. I think this is a fair point by Mark here. Justin Turner's a good pinch hitter. He is someone that I like having come in off the bench in a late game situation against the lefty. I trust him more in that situation. I don't trust him necessarily on a regular basis against lefties. And unfortunately, he's there every day. You got to get him at bats, but he's just not getting it done on a regular basis. So just not enough for him to me. Question about Miguel Amaya. Look, oblique injuries are weird. The Cubs are going through it right now. With all these guys with oblique injuries, it's hard to say. Probably around the All-Star break for when Miguel Amaya will return. Because another observation, not just from this game, but of this recent stretch of baseball, even against bad teams, is that you're not seeing production from Carson Kelly. His batting average is plummeted down to a 260 at this point in the season. It was obviously elite. It was like all-star worthy the first month and a half of the year, but it just hasn't been good. My beef with Carson Kelly is not necessarily that he has to be in the lineup. I think it was a great pickup for the Cubs, regardless if Miguel Amaya comes back and is eventually the everyday starter. But he's slumping right now. And I know you want Pete Crow-Armstrong batting fifth against a lefty. That's what Craig Counsell does every single game. I get it. That's fine. It doesn't mean Carson Kelly should be batting fourth. I'm not sure there's much better of an option. Maybe Nico Horner moves up in the lineup and you move things down. But look, just between what you're getting from some of these vets on the team, Carson Kelly, Justin Turner, as of late, has just not been enough for the Cubs. So this is a frustrating loss. Again, like a game you lost by inches, whether it's the two plays on the wall that were nearly doubles or home runs, where the Cubs did not get either of them. Pete Crow-Armstrong there in the top of the ninth inning is out by 2 inches, an inch at second base, nearly getting safe at second base, and was not able to get it done there. He was so close. You have to challenge it at that point in the game because there's no point not to, just in case they overturn it. But if he would have been safe there, you would have had first and second again with no outs there in the ninth inning. Just not able to get it done. And you have opportunities in this game overall, and they didn't take advantage when they had opportunities. That's the key of this game. They didn't take advantage. They had guys on base. They had more hits than the Tigers, but they were not able to get the pop in this game that the Tigers saw when they needed it, and they were now just not getting guys done, getting guys home like we typically have this season. But you're facing an elite pitcher and a very good closer for the Detroit Tigers, who came in and got 4 outs in this game for them. So this is game 1 of a 3-game series. Expectation for me is still that the Cubs are going to win this series, and it's an important one. This is, again, the best team by record in the American League, in the National League, and I want to see the Cubs do more in this series. I totally agree with Gray here in the chat. It had major playoff vibes this entire game. It felt like every single time the Cubs or the Tigers did something, you felt kind of that tenseness that you feel watching a playoff game. So that was fun, at least. But yeah, I hopefully they can get it done. Becky asked if the Cubs will win this series. I think the answer will be yes. I think they are. Their offense will come through. Look, every time we doubt the Cubs are going to win a series after a bad loss, well, they've won 7 straight series, and they've only lost a handful of series on the year. Same with the Tigers, of course, as well. But I'd be fine going over to FanDuel right now and wagering that the Cubs will win the next 2 games and will take this series. All right, happy Friday night. We will be back tomorrow as well, early game or afternoon game for the Cubs the next 2 days. So we'll be here live on YouTube. Remember, hit that subscribe button, like the video, helps out with all the algorithm and that stuff. Remember, you can also find the audio version of my shows and Matt and Sam shows available anywhere you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify. You can subscribe there as well. So thank you for watching. We'll be back tomorrow. Tough loss for the Cubs, 3-1, and a costly mistake absolutely does them in. So that will do it for us. Talk to you tomorrow. Peace.